If you're starting your IEP progress reports and thinking, I do not have time for this, the system I'm using is not working and I'm feeling really overwhelmed and I need to get this done and it is taking so much time away from my teaching and away from my personal life, you need to watch this video. Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel from the Behavior Check-In, and I am a K-12 behavior specialist and special education teacher, and I help teachers with real strategies for real classrooms. It is spring, and it is the time of the year where progress reports, annuals, behavior data, all of that hits at once. And what I see a lot of teachers doing is either putting it off to the last minute or spending hours trying to make everything perfect and completely burning themselves out. But the truth is, you don't need more time. You just need to sit down and hone up your system so that it saves you time and works for you. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how to do that. Step 1, start with your data first. The biggest mistake I see is teachers opening the IEP and trying to write the progress report before they've actually looked and analyzed their data. Step 1 is to make sure that you are pulling your data first. You're analyzing, you're looking at it, whether that's percentage, frequency, prompt levels, whatever you're tracking, and you're analyzing that data to see how that you can put that in your IEP. Because your data should be driving what you write. It should be driving what you put in for progress, not the other way around. Let me say this because this is where a lot of teachers get stuck. You do not need perfect data. You do need data, but it doesn't have to be perfect. You are looking for a clear pattern, a general trend, and enough data to justify your statement. So, for example, if your data shows 3 out of 5 days consistently, that's usable. If you have weekly data points that show a trend, that's usable. If you can clearly explain what the student is doing now compared to before, then that is usable. I'm gonna say this again, probably because I struggle with perfectionism, but you are not aiming for perfect, you are aiming for clear, defensible, and legal. Step 2, use simple, repeatable sentence frames. You do not need to reinvent the wheel for every single student. This is way too overwhelming. Let me give you some actual examples you can use so you're not staring at a blank screen trying to figure out what you're going to write. I like to keep these sentence frames in a Google Doc so I can cut and paste them and adjust them as needed. So here's a basic progress frame that you could use. Student is currently working on goal. Based on the recent data, student is demonstrating a level of progress with specific data points. Another example you could use, the student is currently working on initiating peer interactions. Based on the recent data, the student is demonstrating moderate progress, independently initiating interactions in 3 out of 5 observed opportunities. Something like that. That's very generic, but it gives you a starting point. Here's an example of a progress or trend statement that you could use. Data shows that student has increased or decreased or maintained performance over time, moving from the starting point to the current level. Another example that you could use, data has shown the student has increased task completion from 40% to 70% over the reporting period. It's just as simple as that. And if you have data to start with, you can work with that if it meets the criteria that we talked about previously. So if progress is limited, and this can happen because of absences or refusal or whatever, you could put in at this time, student is demonstrating limited goal progress towards the goal, requiring such level of support. So an example that I would write in there would be, at this time, the student is demonstrating limited progress towards the goal and continues to require adult prompting to initiate tasks. This may also happen if you have just introduced the goal or you have had absences or behaviors impeded it or whatever, and you don't have all that information, but you need to have something. So for example, your continued focus will be placed on increasing independent task initiation with support provided through visual prompts and structured routines. So if you you don't have everything, you need to say what you're going to be doing to help meet this goal in the future. This is defensible. This shows an action plan. We can't control student attendance. We can't control like outside things, but we can show that we have a plan in place. You can literally reuse these over and over. Save this part because you're going to want to use this every single reporting period. Step 3, batch by goal type, not by student. So for me, this has been a huge game changer. If you're writing behavior goals, you might start with, the student is currently working on completing assigned tasks. That could be your sentence frame. And then at this point, you're just adjusting. And you're adjusting by adding the data, the percentage, and the level of support based off of your data. So basically, you're not starting from scratch each time, you're just editing and adjusting. Step 4, keep it clear, not perfect. You are not writing a novel. Please don't. That's actually really overwhelming when you write a novel. Keep it to the point. Your goal is to clearly communicate progress, not to sound fancy. Let's avoid that. I fell into this in the beginning of my career, and it just is a time waster. So focus on clear data, clear trends, and clear next steps. Step 5, this is a big one. Use a simple system that saves you time. This is where the systems make a huge difference in your progress monitoring, your writing your IEPs, your progress goals. If you're trying to track everything manually or piece things together at the last minute, it is going to be a very overwhelming task for any brain. I don't care who you are. But when your data is already organized and ready to go, writing progress reports becomes so much faster. This is also really important if your teacher's assistants help you take data or your RBTs help you take data. This is exactly why I use and create systems where everything is all in one place, so you're not scrambling when it is time to write. And here's a bonus. This is the fast mode when you're super short on time, because we've all been there. So here is what I do to just knock it out and get it done. Set a timer for 30 minutes, pick one goal type, and write as many as you can. Focus on that in your IEP progress and stop when the timer ends. I'm thinking like, okay, I'm doing all of my behavior and then knocking it out. This keeps you from overthinking and helps you actually move forward. Because once again, if I just open it up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. For me, I just find that to be easier, the way that my progress monitoring system looks. Now, it might be easier for you to go student by student or grade level, but I personally find it easier to do it goal by goal. So if you're feeling behind right now, I want you to hear this. You are not alone. This is a problem, unfortunately, in our industry, but you don't need to spend your entire weekend or your personal time or your planning or your lunch just doing reports. You just need to have a system that works and makes it easy and doable for you. And if you take anything from this video, I really want you to remember you don't need to have perfect data. You just need to have data. Don't get your head wrapped around about how it's supposed to be perfect and organized. Just get the data. You don't need to have perfect wording, and you don't need to have hours of time. What you do need is clear data, simple structures, and a repeatable system that you can do over and over and over again. And also makes it easier for your teacher's assistants to do as well. Nothing super overwhelming. Then you will have your data, especially if you do have students that don't show up frequently. You need to make sure you can maximize that time when you're in that situation. If this video is helpful, make sure that you like and subscribe for more behavior and special education strategies, and I'll see you in the next video.